Hi, and welcome to Visibility Unlimited and Visibility Spotlight Unlimited, the video portion to Visibility Unlimited, the podcast. I'm Lucy Short, your host and the owner of the Cavu Group. Our conversation today is going to be around size inclusivity. There's been a lot of buzz about it. Stores and retailers are speaking about it. Models are talking about it. Designers are talking about it. But what's really happening and what does that mean? So my guest today, Pamela Shainhouse, will be able to really share some input on what's going around in the market when it comes to size inclusivity. And Pamela has been such an amazing advocate for getting it in the public eye, making sure stores are aware and fighting for the cause. So Pamela, welcome.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you here. Can you share, you're not only advocating for size inclusivity, I know you advocate for disability and sustainability. I know what our conversation is going to be around today, but can you share with the audience a bit about your background and what brought you to advocating?
Thank you for having me, Leslie. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to this conversation. I have become an advocate for this size diversity world, we're calling it more size diversity than it is. You know, you can come up with all of these different words: diversity, inclusion, equity, accessibility, belonging, everything. And they change constantly. But we're going to talk about the size diversity part of it. And I started that because I started a fashion brand named in memory of my daughter, Allie, who had passed away in 2006 from Hodgkin's disease, cancer. And just before that, we worked on this brand because we knew that there was nothing out there in Canada. And I am from Toronto. And we needed to make a mark in the marketplace. Problem was, at that time, nobody understood what we were talking about.
No.
Not a clue what we were talking about. They didn't understand that if we produced it in Canada, which for me was the most important thing to do, I didn't want to be a little fish in a huge pond where I didn't have access to this product.
Right.
And so we were made in Canada. We went from an extra small all the way up to a 3X. And we were the first brand to ever use viscose from bamboo, which was a sustainable fabric.
Okay.
So I started in that area, and we were the first ever. They've never done it since, although Toronto Fashion Week isn't really available at this particular time. Hopefully they'll bring it back at some period. But we were the first to ever do a size diverse runway show in 2012. And if anybody on the call is interested, you can see it on, or maybe you can put it on the bottom of your screen later. And it's called Allie Style, ALLI Style, and it's on YouTube.
Okay, wonderful.
And you'll see that gee, these are real people.
Look, when I worked in fashion years ago, I was in men's. And it was a big deal that we went up to a 3X to a 4X on some in men. Sure. But to have women's, it was rare. And when I worked in retail, you had the junior department, and these poor girls would go for prom dresses, and they would have to go to the missus department because there was nothing past maybe a size, 10 in juniors, 12, yeah. Barely. And they couldn't find anything. So it was such a mixed match of having to be able to shop with your friends. Amen.
Well, that's the issue. And that's the reason that it is the most important thing now. I'm not talking about the plus size community.
Right.
Okay. And I'm thrilled that there is a major plus size community supporting up to 4X, 5X, even 6X. I've seen that. But what I'm talking about is somebody who is larger, like I used to be. I've just lost a significant amount of weight, but because I wasn't well and they had to, figure things out for me. I didn't do it for other reasons. But the issue is that the good part about me being thinner now versus the way I was is I really understand the lack of what was out there compared to now being able to walk into any store that I can walk into. I'm a medium now. My granddaughter almost died when I told her these pants were medium. She looked at me, she says, "You're kidding me, right?"
But let's think about years ago, and not that far ago. The average size for a woman in America was size 12. That changed to a 14. In 2023, they're saying the average size is a 16. Now, what's average?
Okay. The issue is that 70%, little under 70%. So you're talking a little under 3/4 of the market. Okay. Right. Are a size 14 and up. Okay. And the average of that, or the mean or whatever, I failed math terribly.
No worries.
The average of that is a 16, 18.
Right.
So you are basically saying that most of the women out there are a 16 and 18. Yeah. So why aren't brands producing? I'll tell you why they're not producing. Or let me get back to something for a minute. Okay. And just tell everybody that Ali Style now is not being produced. I'm hoping to do something with it, but I don't know. I'm getting older and
you can consult. You hire and consult now.
Consulting works for me. But then I worked in consulting, so that's why we moved back into what I'm doing now.
Right.
So anyway, your question was, or my statement was, why are they not producing? They're not producing because they think that it's more expensive.
Right.
To produce it. And it is.
I was going to say it is.
The grading is different. It's not like you add 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, because then you're going to have a square. Right. Okay. So it is different. But, and this is a big but, once you've done that grading, you have the elements in place to be able to do your band and to produce it.
Right.
Yes, it's different math. Yes, it's all of that. Yeah, I get it. But their statement of, oh, it's more fabric. Yes, it's more fabric.
But you also have to speak to your consumer base. If your consumer base is that average size, and it's not for every designer, and it's not for every store. Everything is not for everyone, right? Let's put that out there. But to be able to speak to a consumer base, which we just spoke about, you and I, is the mass of the consumer base, and you're not speaking to them or offering sizes, let alone design options, it's crazy.
It is crazy, but what I wanted to say is that you're going to use more fabric to go from a size 4 to a size 6, or a size 6 to a size 8, or a size 8 to a size 10. So why aren't you arguing about that costing you more money?
Right.
But then all they want to do is charge more from a size 14 or a 16, more money for that. It's absurd.
Yes,
amortize it over the whole collection, so you don't lose any money, which is what we did. And then people can at least feel that they're accepted. You know what? The old way of thinking of things is brands didn't want to be part of this plus size or this world.
Well, it wasn't luxury.
It wasn't luxury.
It wasn't considered luxury. It wasn't considered trend.
And it was considered that you were supporting the obese also, right, which was a totally different thing. And when I was doing my brand, I wasn't thinking about supporting obese people. I was thinking about, you are who you are. You celebrate who the hell you are.
Right.
Okay. Period. It's not up to me to say that you're fat. It's not up to me to say to you, you're
unhealthy.
You're unhealthy. That's nothing to do with what I'm proposing.
Because whether you are or you aren't where you are at this moment, you should still have an option to be able to get dressed and be comfortable in what you have on and be able to go to a wedding as well as go to a ball game as well as to sit on your couch. Whatever that is of your life, of your size at this moment, you should be able to have options.
Well, you should absolutely be able to have options, and it is your own goddamn body. Excuse my language.
So,
I'm never going to swear here, I promise you. But
no worries.
that's as far as you're going to get. But it is your own body, and nobody has the right to tell you what to do with your own body. Period.
Did you see the designer that I don't remember if you posted it? I don't know if I reposted it or made a comment. They made one dress size 00 to, I think it was a
40.
size
40.
Was it a 40? And they had the model start from the 00, 0, 1, and they had each model come, and that was their fashion show.
And you and I know each other way too much, because I was going to mention this brand in a second, was in my brain. Yes. I have a pen here and I have a pad of paper, because when you're going to be 70 years old, it goes in your brain and it walks right out the door.
It doesn't make a difference what age you are. Look, mine is here as well.
Anyway, the brand is called Universal Standard. Okay. And it started two very good friends, Alex Waldman and Paulina, and I don't remember her last name, realized that and Paulina is a smaller woman and Alex is a large one, realizing that Alex needed to go to a wedding and there wasn't anything that she could wear, a party of some kind, nothing that she could put on her back. And they had their brand is called Universal Standard. And it is a brilliant brand. It's more of a, I don't know whether it's more of a casual brand. You know, the unfortunate thing is they do ship to Canada, but I have to pay more duty and more things on top of it. Right. So it's hard to be able to get it here for me to do that. But then the next time I go to New York, I'm going to their store in Soho. I think it's in Soho.
I think it is as well. I just love the fact that I didn't realize it was two designers, really made a point to say, not everything that you put on your body is for everyone. We all know that. From a size 4 to a size 12, sometimes we shouldn't be in the same thing. It could be height, it's just the way it falls on your body. But that they were able to make a point to say, but we were able to make a dress and some other things that went from that 00 to a size 40, that it can be done, that there's room for it to be done.
I totally agree. And then the wonderful part about this brand is just recently they acquired a brand from the most remarkable model that I have ever met. Her name is Lauren Chan.
Okay.
Canadian, but now she's based out of the States. And her brand is called Henning, Henning.
Okay.
They just acquired Henning. And Henning is more of an upscale suit layering, that type of remarkable brand.
Okay.
And Lauren now is working. I'm not sure whether she's working with them, but she is now the first queer plus model on the Sports Illustrated bikini.
Yes.
Bikini magazine. I think it's coming out soon.
I did read that. Look, as I was flipping this weekend, Cosmo had an article and a full fashion layout on dresses to wear for a wedding that are beyond a size 16.
Cosmo's doing a really good job of that, and Vogue is doing a good job of it. I don't know if you took a look at the new Vogue, British Vogue.
British Vogue. Let's be very clear. British Vogue.
British Vogue cover where they had accessible people who had accessibility challenges on their covers. They had 5 or 6 different covers.
Yes.
Selma Blair was one of them, and then they had others.
But let's be honest about that. Let's stay there for 1 second. The editor of British Vogue has made a commitment to diversity and to being inclusive in fashion.
There's Anna Wintour, right?
Yes. And he said his commitment will be that he will not just speak about it, but that he will make sure that it is in the magazine, that it is shown.
Yep,
And so
absolutely.
that commitment has to be from designers and retailers as well, to say we are going to now expand beyond latex and muumuus and actually create design goods that could be part of trend, not part of trend, that are fashionable. Let's just say that are fashionable and in style for human beings to wear. Then you get to the accessible portion of it, right? Which is different than sizing.
It's different than sizing, but they also, I'm sorry, guys, but
Mhm.
they also produce for larger sizes too. So, because
Yes.
depending upon I apologize,
No,
everybody.
no worries. I'll pick up from there. I know that though accessible, and so I like to separate it a little bit, accessibility, because there are still things. Inclusivity means you're going to have sizes going this way, right? Accessibility means
Not
you
just
need,
that, not just that.
right.
It has to do with modest fashion. It has to do with ageism. It has to do
Absolutely.
with all different areas that come under that realm. Okay,
Umbrella.
we think about it just as plus, including and plus, and all of that, but it does include other areas. So, but I agree with you on the adaptive fashion world.
Hmm.
It is, first of all, it's one of the largest growing sectors of DEI and fashion.
Yes.
It is taking ground, from some remarkable women,
Hmm.
some women who are not disabled, other ones who are and trying to produce for themselves. It was really, really started significantly with this remarkable woman whose name is Mindy Shire, who I adore, whose son has not cystic fibrosis, what's it called? Oh my goodness, starts with a C. Anyway, cerebral palsy.
No, I mean,
Telling you, I'm going to be 70 soon. So, it kind of goes up. I'm 6 months. I
70
got
young, 70 young.
I'll take it. Anyway, and she had such difficulty putting pants on this
Yes.
remarkable young man. And she decided that she was going to figure out how to do it. And she started a foundation called Runway of Dreams, and she has gamut management. And she was the one, I'm not 100% sure if she was the one who started everything, but I do know that she is the one who has taken it under her wings and made sure that people really know about the issue of adaptive fashion.
And doing an amazing job with it. So, I mean, and beyond the fashion shows, it's like you said, the awareness
It's
that,
unreal what she's doing.
right, and that it's not all about, when we speak about
Very
adaptive,
exciting.
you have to understand that there's body size that are different, whether you need Velcro or snaps or magnets or, you know, from the sides, from the front, different ways that have to
If
be
you're in a
thought about.
wheelchair, if you're in a
Yes.
wheelchair, how do you put your jacket on? Well,
Hmm.
you put it on this way and then hopefully have somebody with you to be able to Velcro it in the back. I am just learning all about adaptive fashion. There is a remarkable, I might say that this person probably started it in Canada. We're pretty damn good in Canada. We're
I
kind of
know.
a little prejudiced.
I was gonna
Her
say
name is,
we're a little biased on that one, but I'm gonna let you have
no
that. Go
doubt
ahead.
about it. Her name is Izzy Camilleri.
Hmm.
And Izzy started IZ Adaptive
Hmm.
a long time ago. So I would say that she's probably the first. And it's remarkable the work that she has put into it. And then all these younger ones, Slick Chicks, and all different ones that are coming up from Victoria James, from London. London Fashion Show showed these brands. They
Yes.
put them on the runway.
Well,
New York
we
didn't.
say it, and I'm
Talk
so,
about New York not giving a damn about it. New York Fashion Week, and don't get me angry because I'm going to get angry for a second, only a second. New York Fashion Week had maybe 10, if that, plus size models on the runway.
but Pamela, they just started having people of color and black models on the runway.
And
More
there
than
you
one.
go too. Exactly.
So we speak about diversity as a whole, and then let alone anyone, yes, that were a size over 00, right? Then you go, okay, we're going to add some Black or Latino, or we're going to add color or Asian into the mix. They're slowly understanding that diversity
They're
also
slowly
means
understanding.
disability.
There's another remarkable brand called 11 Honore that works in
Mhm.
the couture area, Patrick Herning, and the only brand. And he actually talks to Carolina Herrera and to these other brands and
Right.
says, here are the measurements. I need you to produce things for us because there's nothing else out there. So yes, it's starting, but it was doing so much better. And then with what happened with all the runway shows, I'll take London out of it because they were brilliant in what they did, but Madrid, Paris, New York,
Right.
out of 2,300 models, 33 were diverse. 33.
And so
Now I'm going to
please
calm down.
clarify what your version of diverse means.
My version of diverse was Black. I'm not 100% sure if Black is under this, so I'm going to take that back.
Okay.
No plus, only 33, if that. I'm not, that's something that I should know, what the 33 made up, and I should know that. So, and I can't answer that.
No, that's fine. I just always like to have clarity so that when we're speaking
You should
with
have
everyone,
clarity.
if we're breaking it down, because I don't want to shout somebody out, because I'll be the first one to be like, you only had 33 in the whole thing. I just want to make
I
sure
think
what
it's
it
more
is.
plus. I think it's more size diverse, like
The
plus.
size diverse, right?
Yeah, I can't make the race. I can't make
Right.
that
Because when we
statement.
speak diverse, I want to make sure we're speaking race
But
and
I will look
gender.
into it and I will send it to you.
I love that. Thank you. But no, but still, it's the fact that there are people that are different sizes, that are different shapes, that have different abilities, that the fashion industry is beginning to be aware of, who also has expendable dollars, who's out just living. It shouldn't even be about expendable dollars, even though at the end of the day it's a business, and fashion is having a hard time selling
Well,
across the
it's
board.
having a huge hard time. Take a look at Old Navy. We
Right.
were all so thrilled with Old Navy because they were supporting all sizes. They were Old Navy is very good about putting them all together. I
Mhm.
am a huge proponent, getting back to wanting to shop with your friends. I am a huge proponent of having all the sizes together.
Right.
There's a brand such as Veronica Beard. They put all their sizing together. She goes up to a size 20, I think.
My computer just moved because I wanted to pull up for you and read, because I think you would appreciate this. Even though Old Navy is having such a hard time, I was in there, I think a week ago, and this was up on their walls. I'm going to read it. Shopping here supports our image mission, unlocking opportunity through extraordinary careers, fueling inclusivity by amplifying diverse voices, and supporting sustainability in our clothes and our practice.
I love that. That's fantastic. Problem was with this, I love that, and that's exactly it. Problem was
Yes,
that the
because there was a,
Gap companies gave Old Navy one damn season, one
yes,
or two seasons to to
to
to move
prove.
forward. Okay,
Yep,
nobody moves forward that fast.
no one.
Okay,
And that is the
nobody
issue when,
knows. Nobody knows. I'm sorry for interrupting you. That's the one thing about Zoom. You never know who's going to stop the conversation. Nobody
conversation.
knows. Okay, they have no clue where their sizes are the sizing that is doing the best in that amount of time. You
Well,
can't.
that's the issue with anything under the diversity umbrella.
Absolutely.
Everyone wants to see something shift immediately when it's put out, and nothing moves that quickly. If you
No,
open a business,
absolutely.
you can't
It's
decide the
5
business
years
open,
to 10 years to move a business forward in
right?
new initiatives. We all
You
know
know,
that. But
absolutely.
Old Navy was given, I think, 1 or 2 seasons. I wasn't even sure. I think it's 2 seasons to get their act together. And their problem was that that most of the merchandise, the larger sizes were selling, smaller sizes were selling. It was a mid size. That's what they're calling this now, the mid size, right. The 10, the 12, the 8, that wasn't selling.
And here you go. When you think about the 10, the 12, the 8 has much more options to where they can go shop. And so, but we don't take that in consideration. And when I say we, I think it's people sitting in a boardroom going, so how do we adjust? Do we do a limited amount of these sizes? Because you can do that. You don't have to order a full. And I think it was just that conversation of, yes, they did not give it an opportunity to really survive. But and what's crazy is, and sorry, they put so much money up front and campaign and advertising and floor space to take it out so quickly.
Yeah, you know what? It's absurd. They didn't give the president enough time to get moving. You can't do it in 2 seconds flat. It's impossible. Mm-hmm. So give people the opportunity to be able to move forward, and don't criticize them from from a season or two because they didn't do it.
And that's funny. That was going to be my next question. Like, if you could tell the retailer something, what would it be? But you just hit it. Give time.
There you go. And also, I don't know if you know that Nordstrom went under here in Canada.
Yes. They're closing a lot of stores in San Francisco. They're closing a lot of stores all over. That. Yes.
And they gave it a shot, but the Nordstrom in Canada never announced that they had larger sizes. They never announced that they eliminated their plus size, which they've done all over. They've eliminated their plus size section and they've integrated it. So if there are brands that support the larger sizes, the plus size sizes, they're there. But they don't tell anybody.
You can't be the best kept secret.
And their mannequins look like this.
Right.
My finger is fatter than what their mannequins look like. And you look and they're all like this. There's a one damn larger mannequin anywhere. There's no place that says you are welcome in our store. Now, I was in Manhattan. You knew I was just in New York. Yes. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see each other. And I'm back in July 7th, by the way. So I don't know.
We'll figure that out.
Anyway, so I walked around again. I didn't see. But
if you go into Nike, so I will say Nike New York is one of the first ones.
You go into
Gap has them. Old Navy has them. Yep. Macy's has some. Because I was walking around the city knowing that we were going to speak soon. And just actually, I love to walk each season to see what's going on.
Good idea.
And to my surprise, there was a few boutiques that had one, but maybe they only had 4 mannequins in the window, so I'm not going to fight them on that. But there was one.
I'll take the one, Leslie.
Right. And this was like a small boutique that you're going to wander into. So we see that things
write that down. Did you write those down?
I did. I know. I'll remember. I'll let you know. I have to be back in another week again. But we see that it's shifting. But if you were sitting in a boardroom, what are the top 3 things you would say to a designer and or a retailer?
Number one, I would say that you have to make a very, very strong presence on the floor to show people who are walking around there to say, I'm welcome. That's number one. And I mean, you cannot put the plus size department in the basement beside mattresses. Yeah. Just because you're heavy doesn't mean you have to lie down after you've tried on things, because a mattress is there. Mm-hmm. Placement is key. Advertising is key. There is no way that a larger woman is going to know that they can shop in your store unless you tell them that.
Absolutely.
And then number 3 is to throw it into these retailers' brains that you will not get a more loyal consumer than one who is a plus size, larger size diverse consumer because they know that they can shop there.
Right.
Why would they go anywhere else?
And they can shop with friends of all sizes, and there may
Friends
be
of all
something.
sizes.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I used to have to say to my aunt is about this big. So when we went in New York to shop, she lives in New Jersey. I couldn't shop with her because I had to go elsewhere.
Right. Right.
And I didn't bother.
Mm.
And the other thing that I want to say, I'm going to have number 4. Okay. The other thing I want to say is just because it's a larger consumer doesn't mean that the fabrication has to be crap.
Thank you for that. Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that if they were anywhere near a match that they would blow up from polyester fast fashion. Right. I am abhorred by what Shine is doing. Sorry, I'm going to throw it out there. Let them come at me. You can see I have made it very clear on my post.
Yes.
Because of the way they treat their factory workers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, this is the only money they make, so sure, let them make whatever in their eyes. But these people deserve fair wages. There's justice that has to be done for this.
Fast fashion does not have to mean a lack of human rights.
I think that's a perfect statement. I may steal that. And because I really believe that you're right when it comes to Forever 21, when it comes to Shine. Like, is the consumer not stupid? What do you think it's going to take to make a $9 dress?
Right. And so that's all part of it when we look at this industry and making these shifts. Being aware, one, that your consumer is an intelligent consumer, whether it's from the warehouse to how you ship, to how you price, to how you return, online. Are you charging me to return it back? What is happening? If it doesn't look the way it looked on as you said before, on the computer, and then comes and it arrives and it's something completely different. And the fabric is not what I thought it was. How much am I now being charged to send it back? And I didn't have an option to go into a store and try it on.
You know what? As a handicapped woman, mm-hmm. and your listeners don't know that I am a handicapped woman. Mm-hmm. And as somebody like that, I can't try on in stores. When I shop, mm-hmm. I have to purchase it. It takes me twice as much work because I have to purchase the product. I have to come home. I have to try it on. Hopefully it's going to fit me.
Right.
I bought a pair of pants at Target. I still I don't know what size I am, which end is up. And now my granddaughter's wearing them. They'll be a little big for her, but she's wearing them because they don't fit me.
Right.
And I can't take, by the time I take it back, take it back, it's another story. So, it's the whole story of producing properly and really understanding that this is a very important market, whether it is an adaptive fashion market, whether it is a size diverse market, whether it's a plus size market. It is a critical market that has to be observed. And you have to do it right, Leslie. Okay.
Yeah. And so you said Target.
I'm pointing at you. My mother always pointed at me.
I want to shout out Target because they have really made the commitment for
all the way
plus
through.
size, but not just plus size collections. They're bringing in collections. That's a difference. They're not just saying, here's a jean from 0 to 40. Here's collections with designers that look like me, look like you, that are diverse in every sense of the word.
I'm still not a huge fan of Target at times because they separate the plus size.
But I'm okay if you're separating it as a collection.
You and I could have a conversation about that. But
getting a
it's
full
okay
collection.
if you think that, that's great. I am a huge proponent. I've never loved the word plus size. I've hated it. I've rarely said it.
Mm-hmm.
And but I appreciate it.
Right.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate any company that wants to support it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate twice as much any company that wants to support adaptive fashion, which is
Yes.
Kohl's and Target
Mm-hmm.
and J.C. Penney,
Yes.
and so they support all the both. And
It's
I'm a
sustainable.
exactly I'm a huge fan of that, of their what they're doing in the fashion world. Tommy Hilfiger, people who are saying, damn it, there's this, we have to be able to support this market.
Yes, absolutely. And I sometimes don't go, oh, I don't want it to be a market, but it is a market. It
Market.
is a true viable market of humans,
It's an
of people.
industry. It's an industry in
It's an
itself.
industry, and you must be aware that it is a viable, true industry. And I thank you for all that you do. I love to see your post. Sometimes I don't post mine because I see you post. I'd rather just make a comment, but I love that this is really seems that a passion for you as well as an awareness. Where
It
can
has
people
always been a
find you?
passion for me,
Yes.
and always will be, because I was brought up a chunky kid. My bone disease made my bone disease. I have double the amount of bone density.
Okay.
And my mother used to have to go, I'm not telling you a word of a lie, she had to go to Saks in New York
Hmm.
to buy me chabettes.
Yes.
Wouldn't you love to wear that?
I know.
Like,
I know.
yay, we're going to wear that. But that was
Wow.
the only thing that was available. And outside of making, handmade clothes, which she could have done.
Right.
But the truth is that when you've lived all of this, and now with me in a different body,
Hmm.
I appreciate everything so much more of what I went through.
Right.
I see it in a different way. And, the only thing I want to say, if you don't mind me adding one statement to this,
Of course.
designers have to do it right from the get-go. Don't do it on your own. Hire somebody like me, like other people. There are other ones in the business, but what can I say? Hire people like me who can help you from the beginning. Because if you do it on your own, the chances of you doing it properly
Right.
are slim, and then it's going to cost you more money than it is just to hire me and help you
Right.
let you do it the right way from the beginning, and then you're going to shine all the way through.
And so on that note, I will always say nothing about us without us, which is came from the
Oh
disability
God, I love that.
community to begin with. If you're going to do anything to cater to a community industry, you must have the people that you are trying to cater to do good for at the table, to be part of the conversation, to be part of the process, to be to give you an insight that you may never have known, no matter how well intended you are to build something. Build it with those that you actually want to serve.
Well, that, and second of all, if the person has been in those shoes or in those clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and the person understands what disability is and all of that, why wouldn't you go to somebody who can help you in this? Because the way I understand things is very different than the way somebody who, there was somebody in Bloomingdale's, and I know this is ending in a second, when we went to sell our product. And my wonderful model at the time, Whitney Thompson, who was the winner of America's Next Top Model, we went to Bloomie's. This person was about this big, okay? And I said to her, and she says, well, we have this type of product. And Whitney says, you do not have this product.
Right.
Yes, we do. She says, no, you don't, because when you have a product for a plus size woman, you have to make the arms larger. not just the body,
Right.
the arms. And she goes, yeah, I didn't think of that.
And that's why you have the right people at the table.
Yeah.
Pamela, it's always so great speaking to you. Where can people find you?
Uh, you can get in touch with me at Pamela at the Shainhouse Group, SHAIN, like Norman, and the word house, group.com. And I'm Shainhouse Group at Instagram.
Wonderful. Thank you as always. I know we will have many more conversations, whether it's on the podcast or video or not. We speak all the time. For those that are watching and listening, I hope you were able to take something new, that you were able to learn something new about sizing and fashion and an industry that is important, and it should be important to everyone, for equity for each of us. We should be fabulous anytime we want to get dressed. On that note, everyone, please remember to subscribe to the podcast or to watch this on YouTube at the Cavu Group channel. And you can find myself and all the videos on the Cavu Group YouTube channel and on all social media under the Cavu Group. This is Leslie Sheriff signing off for Visibility Unlimited and Visibility Unlimited Spotlight. Keep expanding beyond your current culture. Thank you.